Now I'm going to do a scene read from Ratfinks, from The Bones of Wrath Changes. A couple of days later, we were back at the park and found some of the boys fighting. What's going on? We pulled to a stop alongside Chris as Gary tackled Red. A kid went missing from North last night and Gary's blaming Red for not doing anything to stop it or prevent it. I glanced from Chris to Mike, who pulled a funny-looking can with a horn on it from his bag. Walking over to the two boys, he held it out in front of them and pressed the button. The ear-splitting horn rang loud and long, stopping the two boys in their tracks and making the rest of us block our ears. Mike released the button. What are you two doing? Another kid is missing and you're fighting? Gary's attitude boiled over. Who are you to stop a fight? He placed both hands on Mike's chest and shoved him backwards. Blowing a horn in our faces? He sneered in Mike's face. Yeah, a kid is missing and it's Red's fault because he was the leader of the Northies. They were supposed to be looking out for each other. Another shove. But clearly, Red didn't care. Mike stepped back and half turned to throw the horn at me before facing off against Gary. Red is not to blame any more than the rest of us, and fighting him won't and doesn't help. Neither does shoving me. Gary shoved him anyway. Mike sighed. There's 3 strikes, Gary. Gary sneered. It was clearly a permanent thing besides his ego. 3 strikes for what? He stuck his bottom lip out. Pushing you? What, are you going to cry like a little baby? He put his hands up ready to shove again, but Mike did the unexpected. Well, unexpected for Gary, that is. I already knew it was coming. Mike turned, grabbed Gary's left arm, and threw him over his shoulder and flat onto the ground. He turned again and yanked Gary's arm up behind his back. That's what happens when your 3 strikes are up, Gary. I flatten you. Gary yelled in pain and everyone just stood around in shock. Chris looked at me with eyes the size of saucers. I shrugged. Our mum's an ex-cop. She taught her self-defense. Mike yanked Gary's arm again, getting an animalistic growl in return. Yes, she did, he said, leaning down. She also taught us to defend other people against bullies. He threw Gary's hand down, and you were being a bully. He stepped away and turned to Red. Is it true? A kid from the north went missing last night? Red nodded. Well, it's not your fault. We're kids. We can only do so much. Ah! Mike easily outmaneuvered the growling Gary, who'd sprung up from the ground and charged at him. A swift sidestep and a simple hand movement, and Gary face planted the green grass of the oval. And that was Ratfinks. Now we're going to do a read from Who Bot I Am. From The Bones of Wrath Changes. Without thinking of my own safety, I bolted across the lane, scooped up the baby, and hung on for dear life. The boy screamed and squirmed, and when it was safe, I dashed across the road to hand the squirmy, wormy kid back to its mother. Oh my God, thank you. She hugged and kissed the baby and chastised it at the same time. You silly little boy, how could you scare Mummy by running off? She glanced my way. Thank you so much for saving my baby. You're welcome. Just keep him on a leash. I turned and stepped onto the road, straight into the path of an oncoming truck. I hadn't meant to. Step in front of a truck, I mean. I stupidly didn't look for the traffic and stupidly stepped out onto the road. The driver hit the brakes with a loud squeal and smoking tyres, but it was too late. He was too fast and too close, and I was too small and too stupid. He hit me full force with his head-high massive truck bull bars, and with a sickening thud and crunch, I went flying through the air like a lifeless rag doll. The truck skidded after me and stopped barely a half-metre from where I landed in a crumpled, broken mess. I lay staring at the tyres just within reach, so close I could touch them if I tried. But I couldn't. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. I could barely hear and see. It was all blurry with pain, a hot, searing, burning pain all through my body. I think I'm dead. Not that I know what dead feels like. The truck driver was frantically walking around me, directing traffic to stop and talking into a phone. I saw a blurry Marcus race over to me and crouch down beside me, calling my name. Sam! Sam! It was as if I was underwater. The sounds were all buried under the noise in my ears. I felt the gravel and tar beneath me, smelt the aroma of them in my nostrils. I was lying on my right side, the side hit by the truck. Somehow I'd gone flying sideways through the air, only to have my legs fly past me, underneath me, so I landed on the side I was hit. Shouldn't I have gone flying headfirst into something? I don't know. I do know I'm hot and wet and people are moving around me. Is that sirens? Yes, louder now, and now I see cops in their uniforms crowding around and pushing other people back. I'm tired, so tired and hot and wet and thirsty. I want to drink. A nice cold Pepsi Max would go down so good right now. More sirens, more people in uniform. Ambulances? Or is that ambuli? What's the plural of ambulance? I don't know. So tired. Sam, can you hear me? Someone flashed a light in my eyes and poked and prodded me. Something hard's being wrapped around my neck. I think it's a brace. They must think my neck's broken. Maybe they're right, because I don't feel anything below my waist, and I can see one leg sticking out in front of the other way. I'm being strapped onto something hard. Uniformed men crowded around me and rolled me onto my back. I sigh and feel more pain. My ribs are killing me. My right shoulder feels crushed. My body feels like it has imploded. The sky is so blue. And that was the reading of Who I Am. From the Bones of Wrath Changes, which is available as an ebook or in One Bone Anthology 1, available in Dust Jacket hardcover, trade paperback or large print paperback, all the good online bookstores under my kids' author name of TK Wrathbone. One Bone Anthology 1 and the Bones of Wrath Changes.